and welcome to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. So, today I'm going to make another episode about the most inexpensive properties for sale in a selected town by me, by Italy, a place to love. At the moment, I'm following the top 10 cities where to live in Italy according to Italy, a place to love. Now, after covering few different regions like Marche, Abruzzo, Molise, Campania, and Basilicata, at the moment I'm arrived at the Apulia region. So let's start searching in Apulia region the top 10 cities where to live in Italy according to me. So today's city is called Trani. It's called Trani. Let's investigate more about this beautiful city. Okay. So basically, now I search for the properties for sale in Trani. Now, Trani is part of a province called Barletta Andria Trani province. So these are three towns, three cities, which they're making one province in Italy. And we are talking about the northern part of Apulia region, above Bari. So we are very close to Bari. Let's say that is around 30 minutes driving from Bari, maybe 30-40 minutes from Bari airport. Now, my friends, because I'm in need of your support, please put like and subscribe to help my channel to grow. So let's start searching for the properties for sale in this beautiful city called Trani. Now, let me spend few words about Trani. Trani is a beautiful city, according to me, where to live in Apulia region. If you love Puglia, I think it's a beautiful city. Now, because it's not down in Salento, it's not down in Valle d'Itria, so we're not talking about Brindisi or Lecce province, it's not really renovated. But let's say that between the people from Apulia, Trani is one of the best destination location where to live. So I hope that this town is going to be explored more by tourists, by expats, by people who would like to move to Italy because, according to me, it's a beautiful city where to live. Obviously, the price of the properties are not very cheap because there is a high demand from people from Apulia region. Okay, so at the moment here we have 508 properties for sale between houses and flats. Now I will avoid in my search the auction properties simply because it's a different procedure to purchase a property under an auction. In Italy is not generally like in anyway in other countries. So now at the moment the properties drop to 485. Let's select the lowest price. Now in this search, I'm gonna keep all the, I'm showing you now. If you see on the map here on the left hand side of the screen, I'm gonna cover all Trani municipality. So I'm not avoiding any part of this town simply because I'm curious myself to see what's on the list, what's on the market at the lowest price. And then so basically I'm gonna keep apartments and houses also because it's a city, it's a town, and most of the properties for sale are apartments. Again, here we follow the trend where Italian people generally choose to live in apartments. Okay, after all this introduction, let's start seeing what are the properties for sale in this town. I want to read them all. I won't enter in each house simply because we will see, but the most interesting, obviously, I will enter and see the description. Now, for example, here we have the first one is a studio in Via Nigro. We are in Trani city center. They're asking 20,000 euro for one room. We are talking about 25 meters squares. So completely restored. I can have a quick look, but they are not showing pictures, so there's no interest then to see more. Let's see the second one. Studio in Corso Don Luigi Sturzo. We are talking about the southern part of Trani, Zona Sud, Lungomare. Lungomare means that it's facing the sea. So we have a one room apartment. Here it says one room, here it says two rooms. So obviously it's a bit contradicting, but so we are talking about one room, 43 meters squares, sixth floor with lift. Okay, there is a lift, is a high floor. Let me see what the property is about. Now, let's say, for example, that is a small property. It's a small property, so might not really be convenient to relocate unless, for example, you want to buy a cheap property, you are a single person, and the pictures of the house itself don't look very bad. Bedroom is a bit small. Anyway, we are talking about only 43 meters square. So I'd say is kitchen, living room, bathroom, and the bedroom. Let me see again very quick. Obviously, the price, let's say, is quite cheap because 40,000 euro, we are not talking about big amount of money. This could be in between an investment, for example, for someone who is already, for example, living in Apulia region, might look for a rental income. This, for example, in Trani might give some returns simply because, anyway, Trani is a town, is a city that has its kind of market. Not It's not touristic as Salento area, but it's also attractive for Italian market. Anyway, let's keep that one. Let's see what other properties are for sale. Now, two rooms flat in Vico Annunziata. So we are in the historical part of Trani, 45,000 euro, two rooms, 70 square meter, first floor without a lift. So we don't care that, for example, there's no lift. Um, for sale at an auction. For example, here they're saying as an auction. So generally, auction properties, they might be occupied, for example, and when properties are occupied, don't start stressing yourself by kicking, for example, who is in the property to kick them out could be extremely complicated. Now we have Casale, Cascina, Zona Nord. So here, for example, we are in the outskirts of Trani. Immobiliare for sale, a rural room of approximately 18 meters square. I believe is 18 meters square, surrounded by agricultural land. So they say three rooms, 1,518 meters square, I believe is according with the land. But let's have a look to this property because, for example, there is a plot of land. The house, it looks quite small. Um, but I'm curious myself to see this property. What are they selling? I see a kind of bungalow here that it's not that bad. Obviously, this could be just as a holiday home. Pictures are not really paying back, so I won't enter in a property where they're not showing properly the pictures. Anyway, don't forget that here the goal is always to look for the most inexpensive properties for sale. Um, okay, the following one is a shop, looks like a shop for sale, a retail, something that could be rent out. But again, I won't, for example, invest in because I noticed that there are a lot of property shops, retails, business activities that are for sale. So obviously the price is not bad, but again, I'm more interested, for example, in properties for sale. Now, detached house in San Geffa, zona nord, zona rurale di Trani. So we are again in the outskirts of Trani, northern part of Trani. So 2 rooms, 36 square meters. Trani in the area surrounding the Parco San Geffa, about 200 meters from it. We sell a lot of 3,000 square meters with a small villa. So there's a little plot of land plus a little villa. For example, again, these Italian people might consider as an holiday home, 59,000 euro. It's not really a big amount of money. It's not a really big amount of money. Okay, they're not showing pictures from inside of the property. They actually show the plot of land, the garden, some olive trees. There is probably a terrace. Here we have a ladder driving up the terrace. Then we have a kind of wooden fireplace, for example, where you might bake bread or pizza, but that's another story, or for the barbecues. So we have some fruit trees. It's a pity they're not showing properly. Anyway, 36 meters squares. It's a it's a small house. Probably it's just one room with bathroom. Let me enter just to read the description here because I want to see what is the description. Trani, in the area surrounding, okay, this we already read. We sell a lot of 3,000 square meters with a small villa consisting of a room with kitchenette and bathroom. The lot is fenced and has a beautiful orchard. Another room used as an agricultural warehouse and a brick oven for excellent baking, as I said, together with the avenue that leads to the villa are added value of our proposal. Yours for 59,000 euro. The villa is an average maintenance condition. I want to have a look at the picture just because this is an interesting property. Obviously, it's small, uh, could be rent out, is in the outskirts. So let's see. Obviously, my I see plenty of stuff. I see vineyard, so they're growing different type of fruits. That's interesting. For example, for who loves gardening, this could be a lovely property. Again, the pity is that the property is quite small. So it's for someone, I would say it's hard to live in such a small property. Anyway, they're not showing more pictures. It is an interesting property. It depends what type of property someone is looking for. Anyway, let's read the next one. 3 room flat in Via Andria, zona nord, zona rurale. Okay, here. So Trani, Via Andria, for sale we offer a 3 room apartment. So it's a third floor without lift, 70 square meters, 3 rooms. Again, this could be a property, for example, for a young couple, because for someone elderly to do three floors without lift could be a problem. But for example, for a couple who the nomad working, for example, uh, who is on a nomad visa and would like to live in a uh, town where there are a lot of activities, this could be, for example, a decent investment. You are not spending a fortune and you are the owner of your house. Bathroom, it looks in a good condition. We are in the central area of Trani. Maybe, of course, this house could be more for the Italian market. We see that the asking price is already dropping. Anyway, we see that the trend of the properties for sale is kind of, there is a decrease. Here we see that from 70,000 euro, they're dropping to 60,000 euro. Again, let's not forget the Trani. It's a lovely place. It's a really vibrant city. There's nightlife. People are coming from all over Puglia, uh, to mainly Italian, as I said. Anyway, let's see the following property. We have a 3 room flat in Via Palestro in the city center. So 65,000 euro, 3 rooms, 50 square meters, first floor without lift. Intrani offers for sale a 50 square meters apartment with independent entrance located on the ground and first floor. So there are 2 floors. I'm wondering now if they're considering the square meters just for 1 floor. Sometimes in Italy, if 1 floor is 50 square meters and the second floor is another 50 square meters, they still call it 50 square meters because they just look at the surface of the area of the property, which is 50 square meters. But let's have a look. Now we are talking about anyway the city center, Trani city center. This could be, for example, an historical house. It's a shared courtyard. The property, it's an interesting property. This one, I see this ground floor, so we have a room with a kitchen. Is in need of a bit of restoration, renovation. Bathroom could be better. Let me enter into this property simply because it looks interesting. For example, this again as an investment, as a B&B, could be um, an interesting investment. Or in this on this channel, when I cover the properties, I'm not only looking at properties, for example, where to relocate, but I also look at properties also because they're quite of cheap, so just for people who want to invest um, in these places. Obviously, before someone is going to invest, or is someone that already knows about Trani, which I believe not many of the people who are going to watch know already this city, but or for people, for example, who don't know, and so it means they should go and visit the town. Again, I repeat, I would highly recommend to visit Trani, in particular if you're going on holiday to Puglia. I would highly recommend. So I see from this picture, I cannot really understand much. What I see is that it's a kind of hall, and then I see a staircase. Then this is probably the entrance door, but I don't understand, for example, this external part to who belongs. So this could be the entrance that um, brings you through. Probably when we enter into that door, we enter into this kind of small hall. Okay. Then here we have one room. Here we have another room. It's a bit hard to understand anyway, unless there is a floor map. Let's see. For example, I see the radiator is falling apart. Anyway, it's a house that is in need of renovation. It's an interesting property for someone who would like to make, again, um, now here it's a pity that it's very small, the, the picture here, so you can't really, probably there is a second floor, but they don't show the pictures. So I'll go back to see what are the other properties for sale. Obviously, because I'm looking for the most inexpensive, obviously we are not at the moment, we are not really finding properties where you may say, wow. It's just to understand what is the market. For example, here, 2 room flat in Via Petronelli, Centro, Trani, We offer for sale a well served area, a few steps from nursery, primary and middle school, post office, ground floor apartment. So it's a ground floor apartment. I don't find it very interesting. Two rooms. Anyway, then we have a 3 room flat in via Ottavio Maino or Maino, Centro, 65,000 euro, 3 rooms, 80 square meters, ground floor without lift. We offer for sale consisting of an entrance, 3 rooms, kitchenette, 2 bathrooms. But for example, I'm wondering, this property for sale. Okay, I don't find this property actually very interesting. Again, Trani, the properties in Trani are quite expensive. Let's start from these. And what we may find for a low price or cheap, it means that it's really cheap. But as you can see, 65,000 euro is not extremely cheap. In Italy, you can buy for this rate, for this price, you can already buy a house, something even much nicer. But the thing again is that the market is not all the same. If we have a town where there's a high demand for living, obviously the prices of the houses uh, increase. It's like, for example, I'm not saying Trani is at the level of Rome or Milan, but there is a high demand of the market here. All the people in the area would like to live anyway in this city. Now, let me see what's next. 1 room, 36 square meters, not interesting. 55 square meters, it's a studio, 1 room. Let's see. Okay, this is a typical, for example, this is a typical stone house. Beautiful because it's stylish, not really bright because there are no many windows. But this is a property that could be that could be rent out as a B&B, guest house, for example, for someone who is anyway looking for a temporary accommodation. The property is in a good shape. We are in Trani city center, so there are some advantages of this property. It all depends. Again, this also looks like it was uh, probably rent out as a business, as an activity, not as a retail shop, but maybe a solicitor or accountant. Someone professional was probably renting this property. Again, could be turned out into a kind of B&B. Then 2 room flat in via Josué Carducci, 2 rooms, 55 square meters. In a quiet area, we have a small apartment on the raised ground floor, ideal for residential use, but also as a studio. So let's see. Okay, there are only 2 pictures. 2 room flat in via Tommaso, so third floor without lift, 80 square meters, 2 rooms. Okay, they're not showing pictures. Let's keep scrolling. Villa in strada vicinale Moschetto, 72,000 euro, 1 room, 27 square meters. So again, we are talking about a very small villa, which actually looks very nice. But again, we are talking only about 27 square meters. Obviously, they are selling the plot of land around. You are not buying only the house. Again, we find the wooden fireplace that also for baking. Probably this is a kind of summery holiday home. They're showing it's quite small anyway. There is a fireplace, but the house itself looks in a good condition. Could be better. It's a second home for someone who would like to have a second home, for example, and just where to spend weekends. This, for example, again, could be rent out as as a business, as a B&B, as a, as a B&B or guest house or bed and breakfast. Then here we have Villa in Strada Vecchia Trani. So again, probably we have the same typology of property. 2 rooms, 55 square meters. This is anyway, it's at least it's double bigger than the previous one. A typical house in Trani countryside, typical summery home. But this is, for example, it's already interesting. Okay, I see one big open space, one bedroom. There's another little room, and then obviously garden. I want to understand, for example, how big is the plot of land here that they're selling with this property. Gabetti Real Estate Agency offers for sale a characteristic country villa in excellent condition, surrounded by 7,000 square meters of land. So, for example, this could be a beautiful second home for someone who is not resident in Italy. Now, if you're not resident in Italy, if you are an American, for example, citizen, obviously you're allowed without visa to stay. I mean, without a working visa, you're allowed to stay for 90 days as an American. You may use, for example, these 90 days and just to come here on holidays, or then you might give it to friends in the United States who would like to travel. Um, anyway, this could be just the second home, also the second home just for a European citizen, for example, who would like to have a house in a vibrant area like Trani. 75,000 euro is not really huge if we think it's not really a big amount if we think that there are 7,000 square meters of land. The property, approximately 51 square meters wide, consists of an entrance to the dining living area, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom. It's not that small. The surrounding area offers large green space consisting of 150 olive trees and 10 fruit trees. Wow. I'd say only half of the price for these 35,000 euro, if not 40, could be just the price of the olive trees and the fruit trees. Ideal for those looking for a serene and comfortable retreat away from the chaos of the city. That's exactly what I'm saying. Um, do you not hesitate to contact and so on? Okay, let's go back to the pictures because anyway, this is an interesting property. Now, some people may think, for example, that are a bit underrating Italy. I know there are a lot of foreigners thinking that um, to spend much less in Italy. But again, Italy has its own market. So when we are talking about buying a property in Italy, consider that the properties they might cost. They are not coming for free. Someone might say, "Oh, I won't spend more than 20,000 euro for this house." But again, here, what you are buying most is the land more than the house itself. And then, obviously, if there's going to be a recession and the prices are going to drop, then is another story. But as it is the house market now, I'd say, for example, then I can even see the stairwell, the spiral staircase leading probably to a terrace. They don't even mention in the description. You can even keep some animals here. This is a very interesting property. I find that kind of interesting. Could be rent out as well as if you're already resident here, for example, could be rented as a B&B as well. I believe because here we are consider that we are not far from the sea. Trani, we are talking, actually, I never said this, it's a pity, but Trani, we are talking about a city that is on the sea. So I hope people, when they're looking for Trani, are going on Google Maps and they do their own research. If you're watching this video, it's always good to then go a bit on Google and start investigating um, the properties, I mean, where the area is. Doesn't make sense to watch this video and to not investigate where the property is. Then, two-room flat in Via Dalmazia, two rooms, 50 square meters. As we see anyway, the average per square meter in the town is around between 12, 1500 and 2000 euro per square meters. Okay, this looks more like a business activity. It's not really. Then, okay, we have another little small house. So basically, what do we notice now here by investigating? That we can find many properties around Trani that have low prices. And these, for example, this looks quite beautiful from outside. Now, everything looks in order. I would also like to understand how big is the plot of land. Uh, that's also very interesting. Again, this could be a summer holiday, a summer house where people are going to spend their holidays. Anyway, it's interesting. It's an interesting property. I also see the well. They have their own private well, so they have access to water. This is also very important. There is a plot of land, there are trees, fruit trees, your own entrance to the property. Property looks good, in particular from outside. It's a farmhouse. Let's enter simply because I want to understand how big is the plot of land. Again, this could be a second house, 75,000 euro. It's not a big amount of money. If we consider as the house market is at the moment in Italy, farmhouse immersed in the tranquility of the Capiro area, ideal for those seeking the peace and serenity of the countryside. The 40 square meters villa consists of a room with fireplace, kitchenette, and a bathroom. So it's quite small. The previous one was a bit bigger. It has a large private garden of 1700 meters square, perfect for enjoying the sun and organizing outdoor dinners. The property is in good condition and has welcoming and familiar atmosphere. The surrounding land offers the possibility of growing vegetables and aromatic plants. So I think, for example, this type of property is quite interesting. Again, if you're looking for a second house, for a second home, and with also plot of land because you like outdoor activities, this could also be the right property. Then again, we are seeing that for these prices, we are dealing at the moment between countryside houses and small apartments in the city, in Trani city. Two-room flat in Piazza Giuseppe Mazzini. So, for example, here we are around 1,000 euro per square meter. It's a first floor without lift. 80 square meters is not very small. I see that the house, anyway, is a bit in need of renovation. There are not many pictures. As you can see, for example, here that there is the sea around Trani. I mean, Trani is a town, is a city on the sea in Apulia region. Then we have a two-room flat in Centro Storico, 80 square meters, again, around 1,000 euro per square meter, second floor without lift, acceptable. For me, two floors without lift is all right. Three floors, no. Bright apartment a few meters from the port, comprising entrance hall, lounge, bedroom, bathroom, and closet. Now, the thing is that by the description, by the 80 square meters, I say entrance hall, lounge, bedroom. They mean lounge, probably dining, living area with kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, and closet. There's only one pictures. Let's skip. Again, we have another one with only one picture, even if this picture doesn't look bad. Probably is the same. Probably again is another. Probably it's also under an auction. We don't know. Then two-room flat in via Madonna delle Grazie, centro Trani, 80 square meters, 80,000 euro, 46 square meters. As you see, we are around 2,000 euro per square meter. So it's not really a cheap property. Um, it's a quite small property. Anyway, we are in Trani city center, which there is a high demand also for investors. We have one kitchen, dining room with dining space. Here we have a living room. It's a mezzanine without lift. Here there is a hall. Okay, the property, for example, they didn't show the bathroom. I didn't see any pictures of the bath. Oh no, here there is. It's not very big. So we looks like there are two rooms: the kitchen, living room, the hall, and I don't see the bedroom. I don't see the pictures of the bedroom, for example. So, but as we can see, that there is a market in this city. So, and okay, next we have two-room flat in Vico San Basile, 80,000 euro, 54 square meters. We're a bit less, 1,700 per square meter. We are anyway in the charming part of Trani, in the historical part. I see the kitchen. Okay, there are quite big amount of pictures. They say 34. Looks like it is a bit in need of renovation, this property. It's an old house. It is in need of some works, maybe not massive works, but first floor without lift. Looks like it's a ground floor more than a first floor. To be renovated anyway, they're saying. So 80,000 euro and it has to be renovated. As you can see, I want to show you that properties in some areas could be quite expensive. Obviously, we are talking about again the most inexpensive properties for sale. Try to imagine that you want a beautiful apartment or a beautiful house. So here we have to go double this amount for sure to start searching for now. This again is for people who really love Trani because it's a vibrant city. If you're looking for very cheap properties or for most inexpensive, this is what you can find, which is actually not the best properties where to live, for example. But again, this proves that there is a market in some places. For example, Trani has a beautiful port. There is the port of Trani. There are kind of many boats that are sailing here, for example. Now let's see this property. Three room flat, centro storico Trani. 3 rooms, 80 square meters, 82,000 euro. These, for example, further reduction. So here they're dropping the price. Even by dropping the price could still look high. But again, 82,000 euro for someone might look a lot. Then, for example, if we are talking about a property anywhere in Europe, for example, 500,000 is not a lot. To be honest, I'd rather spend 82,000 euro here than 500,000 in Germany or 500,000 in UK or 500,000 in France, depending France where. Anyway, I'm talking about big cities in northern part of Europe. I'd rather live here and spend 82,000 euro. Now I want to see this property. Okay, looks like an old townhouse. It's interesting. This property is quite interesting. For example, This type of property could also, but also here needs some renovation. That's why the price is dropping. So I'm not gonna enter in that property. 3 rooms flat in Via Carrettieri, they're dropping slightly. Everywhere they're slightly dropping the price. That's why, for example, anyway, take this video just to enjoy and to have a look at the properties, not because you have to buy. This is only for me to spend some time with you and to show you what is on the market. But what can we notice at the moment? We can notice that many properties have the prices already decreasing. Small percentages, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 15%, but there is a kind of trend. This trend brings me back to my theory where it says that there could be a big, massive drop of the property prices. According to me, in the next 2025, 2026 will be it will be two very interesting years to face because we don't know. But when I'm talking about a house bubble, for example, I'm talking about all Europe, all United States. Obviously, it cannot happen only in Italy. If you're thinking, for example, as a foreigner, as a British, you are thinking, oh, I'm waiting the bubble to burst in Italy. Be sure that if the bubble is gonna burst in Italy, it's also gonna burst in UK. So this is something that we have to understand because we live in a globalized world. We are in a globalized society. So if a crisis is affecting one nation, obviously it's going to affecting another nation, and so on, all the nations around. So, all right. So basically, I think I've done only the first page here because again, the goal is to look for the most inexpensive property for sale. I would recommend you to go and have a look, for example, just for fun, to see the properties for sale. We see that at 85,000 euro, we can find more different properties, probably in need of renovation. Here we have 55 square meters selling for 85,000 euro. I would like to keep going on to keep showing you the properties for sale. Here we have a kitchen, bathroom, living room, and bedroom, 85,000 euro. So this is a small apartment, maybe suitable for a couple who would like to live in Trani. So each property has its own meaning in the end. 2 rooms flat in Via Umberto. Let's have a look to this one and then because this looks like an old building and looks like the property is a charming property kept in a good condition. Let's see. Anyway, the properties are not paying back. The property is not, the pictures are not paying back. The property is not even looking in a very good condition. Looks like you have to probably spend another 100,000 euro. That means that to find the property of your dreams in a city like Trani, believe me, you have to spend more than 200,000 euros. Okay, my friends, so I hope you have enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit particular, a bit different from the other one. I scroll a lot of properties which were not interesting. Again, we are talking about, I just wanted to have a global understanding of Trani, not only looking for villas or for apartments or for investment or as a holiday home. I wanted to have a wide picture of what's on the market at the lowest price. Okay, my friends, I wish you a lovely day and I'll see you here on Italy, a Place to Love YouTube channel to my next video and have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.